Hey, so this video is around how the future of software engineering is agentic. So I think all of us are very familiar with how we're using Claude Code and Codex, but this has kind of been a thesis and trying to understand for myself why I'm a bit AI fatigued with just pressing accept and reject and where it might be heading. So if we take a step back of how traditional software engineering worked is you would spec with the team, the PM, work together on it, architect it, go work with other engineers, and then you would manage tickets, go build tests, do Stack Overflow for Q&A, but at the core of it, problem solving. And then you would ship it, QA, then release. But then that shifted a lot over the past 2 years, especially with Copilot, Cursor, Claude Code, and Codex. And a lot of it now is just prompting and accepting and rejecting, which is fine. You can do a lot of things with it and it's great. But it's where I would say 80-90% of people sit and it's comfortable and it's good. But from that comfort, I felt like a bit of discomfort of just pressing accept and reject, burning a lot of tokens without knowing how it's kind of working, and just purely relying and delegating my cognitive load towards AI in some sense, which is useful, but also harmful in a sense. So it kind of made me think, okay, like this is just the current state of things as well. Like people just opening their laptop and not letting their window session close, even though there are many alternatives as to that you don't have to do that. But this was kind of like interesting as a snapshot of, okay, what did your company do in this stand-up? And they talk about, oh, Cursor built me this, Claude did this, Codex did this, and it's not really like showing and demonstrating, okay, I did this because of this problem solving, and it's fine that we're delegating towards AI in some sense, but that's just like the pure reality. So in two camps, getting bored of just pressing accept and reject. We all know the machines will continuously do all of the work for us. Therefore, it's getting to the scale of what is agentic engineering. And I think it's understanding, okay, how does kind of Codex work under the hood and how do we make it work best for us is kind of my thesis of it of, all right, how do we understand tool calling better? Like through computer use, harnesses, evals, sandboxes, and how we interact with that, memory and context. Like memory and context is kind of already solving itself, but a more interesting thing that I'd like to segue towards is like goals and ticketing. I think if you do /goals in Codex, it runs for a long time and, burns through tokens, but it might do your job in 9 hours overnight without you touching code, which is somewhat quite incredible. And another one is like OpenAI released Symphony somewhat recently, and it's basically, if you think about linear tickets and imagining that you could prompt and then it just goes through your whole ticketing system as opposed to just living off one goal. It's more segmented and broken down of, okay, this is what I should be working on piecemeal. Okay, what's next to do and in progress. So it's very interesting in that sense. And just to reference as well, like we know what OpenClaw did for the world. It opened a floodgate of, agentic coding, programs. But under the hood, this is like the most minimal thing that you would need, to be able to create some sort of like agentic system and flow towards things. It's more primitive, like its website says. So I think where it's heading towards and where I'm experimenting is like piecing together different things. So like Pi with Codex 5.5, kind of like OpenAI Symphony, but with like a linear board and maybe a bit of a goal integration, and then running certain things on sandboxes like through E2B, and then kind of orchestrating that so you let it sit overnight and do things. It's a bit different to just setting /goals, but it's more a system of, okay, this is what we need to do to get things done, as opposed to just accept and reject, because that I think has a threshold and a barrier. Like there's only so much of that we can do. So we have to go one step further or stay in that camp. So yeah, that's my thesis of why things are going more agentic in software engineering. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. Cheers.